Hello everyone. I'll try to explain the important topic of hemostasis in this lecture. So, what is hemostasis? Hemostasis, as it is given in Robbins, it is a precisely orchestrated process which involves three players, that is, platelets, clotting factors, and endothelium. And this process occurs at the site of vascular injury, and in this process the end result is formation of a blood clot, and this process is important to prevent the extent of bleeding or to limit the extent of bleeding. So in simple words, it is a process by which blood clots are formed at the sites of vascular injury. So whenever there is a vascular injury and there is discontinuity in the blood vessel, then a clot is formed, and this clot will seal this area to prevent the loss of blood, and this process is known as hemostasis, and you don't have to confuse it with homeostasis. Homeostasis is like how the body adjusts for the changes in the external environment, that is homeostasis, and this is hemostasis, which is the formation of blood clots at the site of vascular injury. So this is a process, and it involves the three important components: platelets, clotting factors, and endothelium, which lines the blood vessels, and occurs at the site of vascular injury, results in the formation of blood clot, and the purpose is to prevent the bleeding or to limit the bleeding. So I think it is clear. Now, normal hemostasis, as I told you, it has three important components. First is the blood vessel, which is lined by the endothelial cells. Endothelial cells are very, very important, and they have got antithrombotic as well as prothrombotic activity. And when the blood vessel is intact, the endothelial lining is intact, then the endothelial cells, they have the anticoagulant property. But when the endothelial lining is damaged due to any trauma, then it has procoagulant properties and helps in the formation of clot at the site of injury. This I will be explaining later. Then platelets, second most important component is the platelets, because in the initial phase of the vascular injury, they will form a temporary platelet plug at the site of vascular injury. And the third most important is the coagulation cascade. So coagulation cascade will help in the formation of a definitive stable fibrin clot at the site of vascular injury. Now these three components, they are very important for a normal hemostatic process, and if any of these components is not functioning normally, like if there is defect in the blood vessel, or platelet number is decreased, or platelet function is decreased, or the coagulation is defective, then it will result in the bleeding disorders, in various hemorrhagic and bleeding disorders. So this is the overview of the steps which take place in the hemostasis, and we will later on study in detail one by one. So the first step is vasoconstriction. So the blood vessel at the site of trauma, it constricts, so the lumen becomes narrower, and this occurs due to various neurohumoral factors, and mainly because of endothelin, which is released by the endothelial cells. And why does it occur? To reduce the blood flow to this site of this injury. So this vasoconstriction will decrease the blood in this area, and there will be less blood loss. Now second is the primary hemostasis, which is formation of a platelet plug at the site of injury. This is the temporary or primary hemostatic plug which is formed by the platelets. It has got various steps which we will discuss in detail later. So this is the second step, is the formation of platelet plug at the site of trauma. If the trauma is very trivial or very small injury is there, then even the platelet plug will be sufficient to stop the bleeding. But if the injury is so much that the bleeding is not stopping, then comes the role of the secondary hemostasis, which is the formation of a stable fibrin clot. So now here these platelets, they are aggregated at the site of trauma, and they are bound by these fibrin threads, And what is the source of these fibrin threads is the coagulation cascade, because you know that the coagulation cascade, the ultimately the thrombin helps in conversion of fibrinogen to fibrin. So these fibrin threads, they are cross linked and they will form a very stable thrombus, which is the secondary hemostatic plug at the site of vascular injury. So ultimately when there is a vascular trauma, there is formation of the secondary plug, which will help in sealing this site of vascular injury. And after it has sealed, then healing starts to appear, and this blood vessel will heal, and then after that fibrinolysis will occur, and this clot that will help the clot to dissolve. So these are the various steps: vasoconstriction, then formation of primary hemostatic plug, then formation of secondary hemostatic plug or thrombus or clot, and this is a more stable plug. Then lastly there will be fibrinolysis, because after the clot has served its purpose, then it should be dissolved. So that will be by the process of fibrinolysis. So in this lecture I will be covering vasoconstriction and the platelet plug or primary hemostatic plug formation. So first step is vasoconstriction. So this is a blood vessel. This is a basement membrane over which there is the endothelial lining. This is the site of trauma, and underneath the endothelial lining there is the collagen, subendothelial collagen, which becomes exposed when there is injury. And here you can see that the endothelial cells, they are not present at this site of injury. So this lining has become discontinuous. These spindle shaped cells, these are the endothelial cells. So the first step is vasoconstriction, and it occurs due to local factors, and it is a neurohumoral response, and one of the factors involved is endothelin released by the endothelial cells. And the importance of this vasoconstriction is to reduce the blood flow at the site of injury, and this is an initial transient response to the vascular trauma. So this was the first step of vasoconstriction. Now we come to the second important step of primary hemostatic plug formation or primary hemostasis. So initially this is a fast process. Secondary hemostasis will take time. The coagulation cascade will take some time to form the stable coagulum. So before that, the primary hemostasis occurs, and these platelets, they temporarily seal the area where the vascular damage has occurred. So this is a blood vessel, site of injury, and at this site, when this injury occurs, the subendothelial collagen gets exposed, and in this subendothelial collagen there is von Willebrand factor. These von Willebrand factor is derived from the platelets as well as the endothelial cells, and it is there in this subendothelial exposed collagen. And the receptors for these von Willebrand factors, they are present on the platelets. So they are the GP1B. GP means glycoprotein. Glycoprotein 1B receptors, they are present on the platelets, and they will bind to this exposed von Willebrand factors on the subendothelial collagen. So this will cause the adhesion of the platelets. And also another thing occurs is the change of shape of the platelet. So normally the platelets, they are anucleate, disc shaped. So they are disc shaped like this, rounded. This is an electron microscopy picture showing these platelets. But when the activation of platelets occurs, that is when the shape change occurs, then it flattens out, and it has got various spiky protrusions on its surface like a sea urchin. So it becomes like a sea urchin, so that its surface area increases, and then it can cover the area which is exposed, the area of injury. So in order to seal it, so their shape change will occur and granule release will occur, and these two things, number 2 and number 3, together it is known as platelet activation. And the granules, the platelets, they are anucleate, they don't have nucleus, but they have some granules, that is alpha granules and dense granules. So in the dense granules, the contents are ADP, thromboxane A2. These are very important in the activation of the platelet. So when the activation of platelet occurs, then more receptors are exposed on their surface like this. The second set of receptors are GP uh, 2b3a receptors. 2b3a receptors. These receptors, they will present on the surface of platelets, and they cross-link these platelets with the help of fibrinogen. So this fibrinogen is a clotting factor, and it is present here. So fibrinogen, this will link the platelets together by way of this receptor glycoprotein 2b3a. So that will help in the aggregation and recruitment of the platelets. So the next step is recruitment of the platelets and aggregation. And when this occurs, when all the platelets, they are recruited, aggregated, because a single platelet cannot cause the formation of platelet plug. So we need a lot of platelets. So for that, recruitment and aggregation has to occur, and it will occur with the help of these receptors GP2B3A. So there will be formation of the primary hemostatic platelet plug by these various steps. And this image is depicting the change of shape of the platelets. And this is the picture which showing that this is a megakaryocyte, and this is the source of platelets. So megakaryocytes, they are the largest cell in the bone marrow. This is a mature megakaryocyte, and it has a lobated nucleus, and this pinkish granular cytoplasm, which is mature megakaryocyte, and it is mature because it is showing the budding of the platelets from the periphery. We can see these are the platelets. These are about 3 to 4 microns. So this is the platelet budding. So this was the formation of primary hemostatic plug. Now the important points which are often asked in the entrance exam and the viva, sometimes question comes in the exam. So first receptor was the glycoprotein 1b receptor. So when there is vascular injury, the von Willebrand factor gets exposed. Otherwise, it is not exposed to the platelets. So the von Willebrand factor gets exposed, and it gets attached to the GP1b receptor on the platelets, and that will help in the platelet adhesion. And the applied aspect is that when this receptor is deficient, it results in a disease known as Bernard-Soulier syndrome. So this is often asked in the entrance exams. Then if von Willebrand factor is deficient, it will result in the von Willebrand disease. This I'll cover later in a lecture. Then granule release, the granule release in the platelets occurs in the alpha granules and dense granules. These are the two types of granules which are seen in the platelets, besides the lysosomal granules, which are also present in the platelets. Then the second set of receptors are 2b3a receptors, and they will bind to the fibrinogen, and this will link the various platelets together, resulting in the platelet aggregation, which is very, very important to form the primary platelet plug. And if this receptor is deficient, then it will lead to a disease called Glanzmann thromboasthenia. So these are the applied aspects and important points in the platelet adhesion and aggregation. Now the granules of the platelet, I told you there are two types of granules, alpha granules and dense granules. So these granules, they have certain content which play important role in the primary hemostatic plug formation. So the alpha granules, their important contents are fibrinogen, factor 5, von Willebrand factor, and certain proteins which are involved in the healing, like fibronectin, platelet factor 4, platelet derived growth factor, and transforming growth factor. They are important to heal the site of vascular injury. Then the dense granules, their contents are also very important: serotonin, epinephrine, ADP, ATP, and ionized calcium. So the platelet activation refers to the two events, that is release reaction, release of the contents of these granules, and the change of shape of the platelet. So these two events together, they are known as platelet activation, and the most important factors behind the platelet activation are: number one is thrombin, which acts through this protease activated receptor 1, and then second is ADP, content of the dense granule, and it also activates the platelet by another receptor, which is PY1 and PY12. So this helps in recruitment of more and more platelets so that platelet aggregation occurs. Then there is another important factor that is thromboxane A2, that is found by the cyclooxygenase enzyme, and it induces the platelet aggregation. So these are the important factors which are responsible for the platelet activation and thereafter their aggregation. Now important applied aspect of this is that in the antiplatelet drugs they are given, so they have different mechanism of actions, and aspirin, it is a inhibitor of the cyclooxygenase enzymes, and there are also certain drugs which are targeted towards these receptors, that is PAR1 and PY12, which through which this thrombin and ADP acts. So the by this, when we know the pathogenesis of this release reaction, we can understand the mechanism for this antiplatelet drugs. So ultimately the role of primary plug is to seal the vascular defect in the initial phase, and temporarily it will act, and then to concentrate in the when the platelet plug is formed, it provides a surface for the coagulation cascade. As we know that for the coagulation cascade to occur, we need a phospholipid surface, so that will be provided by these platelets, and to which these coagulation factors will bind, and this coagulation cascade will occur, and also it will help in that plug will help in concentrating the coagulation factor at that particular site of vascular injury. So these are the important roles of the platelet plug formation. So this is the summary taken from Robbins. So endothelial injury, which will expose the underlying basement membrane and extracellular matrix, that is the subendothelial collagen, which is normally not exposed, but the injury will expose it, and on the exposed collagen there will be von Willebrand factors, and von Willebrand factor will bind to the platelets via the glycoprotein 1b receptors. So you have to remember this point. Then after this is known as the adhesion of the platelet. So adhesion will lead to the platelet activation. Activation means there will be change in shape of the platelet, and there will be release of the granules content of the platelets. So the various contents like calcium, ADP, and this will result in the activation of the 2b3A receptors, and 2b3A receptors will they are also present on the surface of platelets, and they will form a cross linking between the platelets through fibrinogen molecule, and that will result in the platelet aggregation. So by the 2b3A receptors there will be more recruitment of the platelets, and they will aggregate together. And important factors in the platelet plug formation are the thrombin and ADP and thromboxane A2, and they are targeted by the antiplatelet drugs. So to summarize the primary hemostasis, when there is trauma, first of all there will be transient vasoconstriction followed by adhesion of the platelets to the exposed von Willebrand factors. After that the platelets, they change their shape due to various changes in the actin cytoskeleton inside the platelets, and followed by the release reaction in which the alpha and dense granules, they will degranulate. That will result a number of factors for the platelet activation, and when the 2b3A receptors are also activated, that will result in the platelet aggregation, and thus a primary hemostatic plug will be formed. So that is all for this lecture, and in the second part I'll be covering the coagulation cascade and the fibrinolysis. Thank you very much.